Hey, what's good everybody? My name is Alckemy. Welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be doing another Hapax video on how to build a drum template for Bitwig Studio. If that seems interesting to you, then check this out. What we have here is basically a grid layout, and I have these macros set up to where we can change out the drum selections by using the CC controls here. So here's a quick demo. So this is just a fun sketch tool along with some parameters set up within Bitwig Studio using their custom script mode in order to get everything going. But what I'm going to do is walk you through the setup from scratch. I'm not going to do every single instrument because it's just kind of a copy paste job after that. But let's go ahead and jump into a brand new project on this first, and I'll show you how to set everything up to make sure that you know it's going to be working correctly. So first things first, whenever you get in here, let's go ahead and hold the step button, and we are going to go into the drum mode here. The names are going to be different than what we're using, but we can fix that last. I'm more concerned about making sure that you figure out how to make this work in the way that is intended. So first off, now that we've got our project, we're going to hold sequence 1, whatever sequencer you want to use, and we want to make sure that the MIDI channel or the output is going to USB device, and then set your appropriate channel. Just so you know, if you're doing this in Bitwig 6, the only channel that I've gotten to work right now is channel 1. Every time I go to channel 2 or 3, this does not send MIDI to the thing. But we can double check and confirm now by hitting the live mode and just hitting some pads. And even though nothing is happening as of now, you can see that this is still triggering MIDI. And that leads us to the second thing here, which is just as important. What we want to do is go into all. So let's go back into step mode. We're going to go all, and the output is from 55 to 48. We want to set the big number to 43, and that's going to tune this to C1 at the bottom note. So now if we go back to the live, then it's all ready to go. And while we're in live mode, if you look at this, you can actually transpose everything to a different thing if you want to, but I think that 36 to 43 is, just fine. I don't really want everything to be all spread out anyways. And now we are ready to set up our CC controls. So we need to hit second and go to fill. You're going to see that now we've got these macro buttons here. And all we need to do is just set the correct CCs to correspond with some CC controls that we will be building a script for within Bitwig. And I'll show you what that looks like. So first things first, let's go to CC. I'm going to set this to 14. Then the rest of them, I'm just going to create a sequence with 14, 15. I'm going to go 16. Oops. On this way. This one. Uh-oh. There we go. And a little bit of hiccup there. My bad. 15, 16. We're going to go 17. Then we can go 18. And it doesn't really matter what order you do this in, so you can go top row if you want to. But for me, in the way that I've already got this set up, I'm just going to do it this way. And whenever we go into the script editor, which I'll show you in just a second, you can assign the CCs to really anything. You just want to make sure that they're organized in a way that is going to make sense to you. So now that we have this, we can actually confirm whether or not this works by going back into Bitwig, because I already have this drum rack set up. And if you look at this, whenever I change a knob here, this is going to change the master selector. So you know that we're on the right track. Now, if we were to open up a brand new drum rack from scratch, this is kind of the tricky part that I want to discuss with you, because there's a lot of customization options with it, but it's actually really powerful because it doesn't just have to be the stock drums from Bitwig that I was showing you. It could be anything. So first things first, we need a new drum rack, drum machine. Some things I will never let go of from Ableton. The first thing that I'm actually going to pull up is a sampler. And I'm going to show you why in just a second. But what we want to do is we want to go group, and we're going to hit the plus button here, and I'm going to type in kick. Now, instead of going kick 0, enter, kick 1, enter, I'm not going to do any of that. What I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to drag this in here and pull all of the kicks down into a new layer. Now that we have that, I can actually just delete layer 2 and we're good to go, because now all of these are where they need to be. Next, we're going to click right click, convert to instrument selector. And now you'll see that only the one that's highlighted is actually going to be active. And if you see these moons turned off, it's actually going to deactivate all of the plugins and the subsequent chains, unless if it's selected. So what's cool is we can actually use this to our advantage by creating a macro. And we will set this to the selector here, kind of like so. And now whenever we move this, the selection is all ready to go. Now I am going to drag the sampler down to the bottom because this one is something that I actually want to touch on that might be more important than using the kick 1, 2, and 3, because this is something that has been inspired from what's called a 128 rack, and we can still use the 128 rack to our advantage if we want to. So what we can do with this is go create new multi-sample, and I'm going to go into my sample library here and type in kicks, just with this, and I'm just going to grab a bunch. And I'm going to drag them in here. And if you look down in this area, you'll see that this says select. And so because of that, if we go right click after highlighting everything and go distribute select equally, there's a little staircase knob thing up here, which this is going to freeze. Come on, it's going to take a second to catch up. We're still in Bitwig 6 beta, and this is actually a second time that I've had to record this. So I'm going to try to talk my way through and keep your attention while I wait for this to catch up, unfortunately, but I'm realizing that this is a repeat offender, so I apologize. There we go, caught up. Thank goodness. So if we highlight the orange thing, the little orange asterisk right here, you'll see that all of these steps are ready to go. And now within the selection knob here, if I hit the C0, or the C1 rather, and I go through the selection, we can actually scroll through all of these. And we can go like this. And I wonder if we can highlight all of these. No, we can't. But it would be nice if we can set that to where none of these are key tracked. I actually don't know if there is a master setting on here or not. But yeah, if anything, you can take a day or something and go in here and just turn all of this off. So that way it plays the appropriate pitch. Kind of like so. Whatever. And yeah, Bob's your uncle with that. But now that we have that, we can actually do another selector here, or another macro rather. And if you want to have more control over your kicks or 16 macros or something like that, you can kind of do this interchange in between playing with the macros on this and then doing something on the computer when you have your sequence going. I just want to show you this option because it's so handy, especially when it comes into doing this. And at the very least, if you don't want to, like let's say instead you just want to do a bunch of samplers, you can do that too. There's so much control that you have in order to set this up. But this was the most important thing. And now I'm going to show you the basics of setting up the CC controls with everything else. So first things first, I wanted to create the macro on the group, because now if you want to move this group to another drum rack or whatever, you can actually save this to the library as like Bitwig drum selector or something like that. You know what I mean? And you can move that over and do your other things, whatever. With this, because we want this to actually be a project, or we need this to be a project, we are going to set up another macro here. And we are going to label this as kick. And so with this, we're going to set the index here. And on the bottom, I'm just going to move this over here, down to the bottom rather, kind of like so. We can start to create different macros for each of the selection knobs, if you will. So I can drag this over. We can do, let's just hypothetically pretend like I've got another one here, and we go like this. And this will be labeled as snare, so forth, right? And so now within all of these selection knobs and whatnot, we can map that, then we can map this to this. And so we can change all of these into making that selection. One quick thing, if you notice that this isn't working, it's because the bottom is selected while the macro is here. So it's only going to select from the top down. So you need to make sure that the first is highlighted here, kind of like so. But now that we have that, I'm going to kind of just show you the finished version. So if I go into drum rack or drum machine, never going to get over that. Sorry. I'm going to go here and we're going to go to new drums organized. Here that all of these macros are in conjunction with this. So we have a kick, a snare, a hat, a snare. So if we open this up, all of my snares are in here with a sampler, and you'll see that the selection knob will alternate between that. Then same thing with the hats. Here's the selection. You can alternate in between that. And there's really only two more steps that we need to do. We need to tell Bitwig to respond to the CC controls of this, because this is already set up and ready to go. So if you recall, the CC controls over this in step mode, second fill, sorry I hit generate, is 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, right? So what we can do is there's this little icon over here, and it's this guy. And I don't really know what else to call this, map mode, MIDI map mode, control script editor, something of the sort. But now all we really have to do is click on a parameter, kind of like so, and we can just move this, and now it's mapped. And we do this with this one, now it's mapped. We do this with this one, now it's mapped. Now it's mapped, 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 and mapped. And this is pretty much it. That's all you have to do. And so because of that, we can hit exit or click out of this. I think that my computer went to sleep, and we can sketch our beats, you know, something kind of in a similar sort. And we've got ourselves a little bit of a beat that, you know, you can go and customize and start playing with these different parameters and pull a rolling sampler and all that good stuff. So I think that what I'm going to do is I will give out this Hapax template for free. And then for the ARCANUM members, I'm sorry, for the Ether members, I will give out this actual project, so that way it'll already be ready to go. And even if you don't have a Hapax, like I said before at the beginning of the video, it's fine, because the CC controls and the template is already mapped and ready to go. And so because of that, all you have to do is make sure that on your controller it's sending MIDI data, and that way if you have 4 knobs, 2 knobs, 1 knob, 8, 16, whatever, this is already set up for you. So thank you so much. If you learned something, please like the video. If you want to support the channel, check out alchemy.com. Thanks again to Scorp Instruments for sending me a Hapax. I've been having a lot of fun coming up with cool ideas for this. And let me know if there's anything that you want to see in the future. I'll see you all later.